This meeting has been given public notice in accordance with section 19.83 and 19.84 of Wisconsin state statutes in such form that will apprise the general public and news media of all subject matter that is intended for consideration and action. Roll call shows all board members present with the exception of Trustee Baum. At this time, we'll go to citizen input. Please be advised that per section 19.84, that information and comment will be received from the public. It's the policy of this municipality that public input be limited to 3 minutes to a 3-minute period per person with a time extension granted at the discretion of the chairperson. Please be advised that there may be limited discussion of the information received, but no action will be taken under public comments. Do we have any public comments this evening? Please step forward, state your name and your address. I think you're supposed to fill out a yellow form. Aren't we supposed to enforce that now too? I apologize. Let the record show that Trustee Baum has joined us at 6:33.
5:33.
5:32. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, the room. Wasn't watching the clock. I missed it by 3 minutes.
All right, shall I go?
Go ahead.
Please do.
Okay. Melanie Smythe, N140W17938 Cedar Lane. And I don't really have this is more of a statement and an area of concern and looking into the future this year, maybe not so far in the future. We've done a lot of work, and so thank you everybody for trying to bring up the level of police and fire service in the last 6 months and making sure that that's a topic that's important and continued in this village. It's not finished. We still have this referendum thing, which may or may not happen. And there needs to be a plan B if it doesn't. So that aside, it's in the bigger picture of what's happening in the country. There's an alarming number of illegal aliens that are crossing the border in the south. And I'd like to understand at some point what our state, what our county, and what our general demeanor is about dealing with this situation so that it doesn't detrimentally affect our public safety staff and anyone in this area. Now, I'm a naturalized citizen. I came to this country in the 1970s with my family. So I understand what it takes to be a legal alien and how long it takes to become a citizen. And I do appreciate people who go through the process properly. I don't feel bad for these. I mean, I feel bad for these people who feel they have to come over illegally because it's something that they have to do for themselves. And so whatever we do, we need to deal with the situation humanely unless there's criminals as part of this group. But I read with alarm recently that the White House or whomever is dumping plane loads of people in Whitewater, Wisconsin. And that's a relatively small town. I mean, we are close to Milwaukee. We already have enough troubles here. I'm not asking you to do anything, but I'm asking you as the leadership of public safety for this community to take the conversation higher to the county level, to our representatives in the state, and we need to have some kind of a state process preparedness for this. I'm not putting this on your shoulders. This is something that I think this year is the year that we as a bigger organization need to do something about. And that's my statement, and Happy New Year, and to see you all.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you too. Anybody, any other public comments this evening? Okay. Moving on, we'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve minutes from December 4th.
I'll second that.
We've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to section 5, monthly reports. We'll start with the police monthly report, please.
Thank you. I just wanted to note on the monthly report, am I on? When you look at, and this may have been an issue last month, when you look at traffic violation reported under monthly case reports, you see a significant drop, but 81%. And I'm still trying to vet exactly what that number was from. Typically, those are requests to have extra patrol in certain areas for traffic watch. And there was times either at the direction of this committee or just reports that we received from citizens that had requested extra patrol. So I don't know if those numbers just dropped that significantly, but that's what I'm anticipating that drop is on the report. Because you'll see that the citations are up significantly in November, and for the year, I assure you those numbers are up very dramatically. So I just wanted to kind of point that out. Some other things I wanted to point out, largely because I think our mainstream media did a terrible job of pointing this out. For Fraternal Order Police came out with a report for 2023, showed that 2023 was a record number of officers shot in the United States for the year. That hit particularly close to home because when the details of our shooting come out, you will see that we were unbelievably close to being part of those statistics. So I just wanted to get that information out there since the media has chosen to ignore that. We did have an accident on Highway 41 with the squad where that officer was investigating an intoxicated driver, ultimately arrested that driver. In the process, his vehicle was rear-ended by a driver that was later arrested for operating under the influence. That squad was totaled. Luckily, the officer was not in the squad, so there were no injuries to that officer. You also likely heard the complaint that we took at Sendex, where they located a skimmer that was self-reported by Sendex. We haven't had anyone come forward to say that their information was compromised, but we did put some information out there for citizens to kind of watch for. Mackenzie Haymauer was hired effective last Wednesday and started the academy today. And last week, Dave Perchalski retired after over 30 years of law enforcement experience. So that's about all I had.
Thank you, Chief Snow. Any questions for Chief Snow? Chief Snow, was that a thank you note at the end of the report packet that I saw, or I had a hard time blowing that up to read? Is it a Christmas card thing?
Yes, and I want to see if I can remember what that was from. Yeah, I'd have to be able to turn this somehow. I can't really see it, but it is a thank you for one of our officers. It looks like Sergeant Jones.
And then is the incident at Kennedy Middle School closed and behind us now? Are we completely done with that?
I do not anticipate it being a police matter.
Thank you.
What is that?
Oh, I'm sorry. We're talking about two different incidents.
Language you talk, so what is,
I-
I don't anticipate it being a police matter. What does that mean?
The shooting is, the officers were all cleared.
Yeah.
So they all are back to work. And so there is no further investigation by DCI into that matter. They have closed it, and the district attorney they referred their report to district attorney. That district attorney chose not to charge anybody in connection with the incident.
Thank you. Any other questions for Chief Snow? Chief Delane, please.
You can see for November, our response time was down below that's 90% mark. Not far below, it was just at 89%, but it was kind of a busy month, so multiple units going out at the same time, causing some delays. In addition, prior to the new year, we did have a rather large natural gas leak in the community. That natural gas leak managed to overcome the resident of that home to the point where my crew found them unresponsive in their basement. Two of my crew members were on an ambulance call. The other two took this call, managed to get the person out of the basement by themselves and get them to the hospital prior to We Energies getting there and the building being ventilated. However, those two are now on light duty, both with back injuries due to our short staffing. But in the future, I will be bringing forward an award for those two, and it'll be in front of this committee. We're just waiting for a time that the two can be at the same time and for the award to actually arrive at the station. In addition to that, that being said, with the two people on light duty, you will see an uptick in our overtime for the next month. Beyond that, we're just working on getting through the Miller Communications items.
Thank you, Chief Delane. Any questions for Chief Delane, please? Trustee Nyrider?
Chief Delane, is that why, and I forgot to write the page down, why Menominee Falls, was that for mutual aid? There looked like a lot of requests for them to back you guys up. Is that because, again, of the shortage of
Yes.
help and people, like, if you have two injured or out?
Yes and no. So we have an automatic aid agreement with Menominee Falls. Any fire incident they have, I believe it's north of Good Hope Road, we automatically send our ladder truck to them.
Okay.
Any fire incident we have in Germantown, they automatically send an engine to us. In addition to that, when we do become short-staffed on ambulance calls, knowing that they're staffed 24 hours a day, we do depend on them quite heavily all the time.
But you're saying any fire
Call that they have north of Good Hope Road, we send a ladder
you-
truck.
and then vice.
And any fire call that we have village-wide Germantown,
They help.
they send an engine.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Bohm, question, please?
Chief Delane, I do want to recognize that since I've been on this committee, this board, I have recognized that sometimes you are 88, 89%. There are other days you are 91, 92%. I watched the average. So you guys are doing a fabulous job. You're right around the average. You're there where you need to be.
Yep.
I appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Chief Delane? Let's go to the overtime reports. Chief Delane, you've already tipped your hand, so we'll stick with you on the overtime report, please.
Overtime should be a little bit higher due to multiple people on injury reserve.
Thank you. Any other updates besides that? Chief Snow, please.
On overtime, over the last month, we did have the 3 officers on administrative leave. And I would also just remind everybody through the course of this consolidation process, we're down 2 dispatchers, have not replaced those dispatchers. So we're likely to continue to see those overtime costs associated with that up until the point where we make that switch over.
Thank you. Trustee Bohm.
I'm not sure where we're at on the agenda, but where are we at with this transition?
That's number 7.
It's number 7.
Yep.
Okay, then I'll hold off until then.
Thank you. Any other questions revolving around overtime? Chiefs, policy updates. Chief Snow?
None for police.
6.
Chief?
None for fire.
Thank you. Okay, item number 6, unfinished business. I apologize.
Hey, there. That's what I'm talking about.
Dispatch transition. So one thing I want to call out immediately is this committee asked for a timeline to repeatedly appear in our packet. I don't think that we have received that yet. At least I have not received that yet. So I will be following up with that request with administration. That's on me. Other than that, any other trustee Baum?
I saw a memo or something that you participated in a meeting.
I did.
Can you tell me what happened at that meeting?
It was a telephone, a phone conference with, Chief Snow, you were there. Chief Delane, you were not on the call. It was discussion of getting the ducks in a row for the potential referendum in the spring
And
with Mueller Communications.
do we have an agenda for talking about meeting with Miller Communications? Am I allowed to talk about that at this meeting?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Yes.
Because it's not on the agenda. So something that popped into my head is if the trustees, my perspective is the trustees want to get the police and fire staffing up. And we are going out to the public to ask them to sponsor this, pay for it. Is there an opportunity for the village trustees to write a letter to the residents and all of us to sign that saying,
Yeah.
we support this, we believe we need to have this. If we could do it, we would do it. But we don't have the ability to hire
So-
these people.
So thank you. And that is on my list of questions for what I believe is the village attorney, is what we can say as trustees and what we cannot say, right? And I think that's a question perhaps for a village board meeting. I'll follow up too, but I assume that we are not the only 4 trustees that have that exact same question and need advice
Yeah.
as to what we can do and what we cannot do.
I agree.
Well, we stayed, when the Richfield question came up, we stayed out of it. I don't believe any of us wrote any letters or the board took any action in support or non-support. I personally would have a problem, signing a letter from the village board saying we either support this or we don't. Just from a standpoint is that could lose some votes in it. So is the neutrality, I guess that's a good question, is neutrality in this still our best thing?
And that these are exactly the questions that we need to ask. And
Right.
so can Phil Hudson, the citizen, write a letter and not Phil Hudson, the trustee? I don't know the answer to
I don't
those
think you can
questions.
ever divorce yourself, and say,
Once a trustee, always a trustee?
well, if you're serving the elected, no, no, as of April, no.
Ah, that's
But I mean,
interesting. I like that, Dan.
if you're elected, you are.
No, we
I think-
understand. Yeah.
Curious to see what Port Washington is doing,
Yes.
because they also are going through the same thing. I don't know if it's police and fire,
It's police and fire to
Okay.
my knowledge. Yes.
but I just personally, like the Richfield thing too, I stayed out of it, and didn't give my opinion.
And if memory is correct, I think we were told to be very careful.
Yes.
And so I want those words of warning or instruction again before we get too far down the road.
Yeah.
Before one of us makes a mistake.
I'll
Tre-
make that mistake.
Trustee.
I'll make that mistake.
All right, thank you. Any other thing for the dispatch transition from anyone, please? Chief Snow?
I guess just to give you an update, remember the first part of that transition was to move to this multi-juris with the county. And that
Sure.
we had, correct, and we had to, we retained the funds for that through a grant. That's bogged down a little bit. That process is going to take longer than we anticipated. And right now, I can't even give you an estimate of how long that's going to be. Hopefully by this time next month, I'll have a real solid answer, but we've been meeting with them weekly and we just don't seem to be moving at the rate I anticipated that we would be.
Is the bogging on our end or is the bogging on their end, please?
I'm not understanding why this process seems to be something that Pro Phoenix is struggling with. I would have thought that they had done this a number of times, and I could be wrong. This could be something that doesn't happen that common, but they're asking us to do things I didn't think that we would be doing from an IT perspective. So I think the first thing for us to do is just to meet with Capital Data and get them more involved in the process, and that'll be our next step.
And you think we'll know more at the February meeting?
I do.
Trustee Baum?
Is that technology on our part or technology on the county part? Whose technology is not being moved forward?
So we both use Pro Phoenix,
Yes.
and that's why I thought it would be more of a seamless
That's what I thought.
transition. There is a lot of data from our RMS that has to go into their RMS, and I think a lot of it is, and I would almost need IT to speak more intelligently than I can to the process, but there are certain codes and that we use that maybe the county doesn't, that we have to transfer to them. There's terminal names for our laptops, for our computers that now have to go into their system to recognize. And I think that's just figuring out how that happens is just slow down a little bit.
Does somebody in the village organization need to reach out to the county and put some pressure on them, or?
Well, I think they understand exactly what the issues are. They're people from the county sit in these meetings as well. So I think it's just going to be sitting down first to start with Capital Data and see if they can make the process go along a little more smoothly.
And so I'm going to ask the question that Trustee Nightrider would ask. How much is it going to cost?
Well, we already had the grant for this process, which included all of this.
So it did include what we're going through now? There's not going
Yes.
to be, okay.
Yeah, that's part of the whole process. So and the grant did cover all of that.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you. Moving on to item 7, new business application for temporary Class B fermented malt beverage Class B wine retailer's license for St. Boniface Congregation Spaghetti Dinner, W204N11968 Goldendale Road for January 27th, 2024.
Motion to approve new business item A.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. Any discussion on new business item A? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to item B, application for temporary Class B fermented malt beverage retailer's license for St. Boniface Congregation Lent Fish Fry, W204N11968 Goldendale Road, February 16th, February 23rd, and March 1st of 2024.
Motion to approve new business item B.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. New business item C, application for temporary Class B fermented malt beverage Class B wine retailer's license for St. Boniface Congregation's Trivia Night, W204N11968 Goldendale Road, April 12th, 2024.
Motion to approve new business item C.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. New business item D, application for an original Class B fermented malt beverage and intoxicating liquor license for FCH Germantown LLC and 116W15863 Main Street, doing business as Von Trier Beer Stube, agent Sean Bow.
Motion to approve is presented.
I'm going to recuse myself, so.
Okay, I'll second that, but that also requires a surrender, correct?
For
Of the,
second for discussion.
okay.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
And again, that is contingent on the surrender of the 23-24 license with the removal of the outdoor premise extension.
Wait, why would you remove it?
Pardon?
Why would you remove the outdoor?
I don't know, that is what's written in here. Is there anybody here?
Are you guys?
Okay,
Do you want to come up and,
yeah,
thank you.
Where's that written?
under the recommendation.
I didn't see that in the
I
packet.
filled up a temporary outdoor for the outdoor process of the permit. I'm not sure exactly why, but I've always applied just for the whole license at one time, but I talked to the clerk and they wanted me to have a separate permit for the whole year for the outdoor part of it. Which we
What's-
filled out. And we have
What's the
pictures.
outdoor part of it?
So it's
The patio,
Yeah.
right?
Garden.
no, the big beer
The
garden.
beer garden?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was the whole business.
Yeah.
I thought you were doing something with the,
No, it's exactly the same as it was. The indoor part is just the bar itself, the Von Rotenberg Beer Stube, and the outdoors, the fenced-in beer garden.
yeah,
Okay.
It's been there forever.
if that's the outdoor part.
Yeah.
No,
that's,
Yeah,
that's been
so-
running for years, the outdoor part,
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
there was something with the big boy that had something outside.
That'll be next February, but there's nothing outside. It's just the outside, it's just the deck that's outside existing
Okay.
already.
I'll
think
make a
it's
motion to
already there.
amend that the outdoor premises extension is removed from the recommendation.
I'll second that. If
You can't, I
um,
don't think you
no.
can.
What?
okay, I don't think I
Because
can.
she's-
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to. I'm gonna recuse myself from voting on it.
So she can't.
Don't look at me like that.
She didn't second it anyway. It would
No,
be
I-
up to trustee Narada.
Well, all right, I'll second that for discussion purposes. So we're talking about that the clerk, Donna Cox, wants to do this, the outdoor part at a later date.
I'm not sure it's that. You wanted me to fill out a separate
Okay, yeah.
form. There's usually, when you fill out your application, there's a part that says where you store your liquor, where you serve your liquor.
Yep.
Because this is outdoors, even though it's fenced in with the other buildings, you want me to do a separate,
No, that doesn't make sense.
Maybe she wants it to be a separate here. Yeah, well, that's a good
I
point.
don't know, were there any,
That
were
we
there
didn't,
any
we never did this
complaints?
for Big Boy
So,
or for
It
the.
would go along with what she's
Center.
asking for, because
I agree with
you
that.
could have complaints or something, there's gotta be something driving this.
So Chief Snow, any concerns?
planes?
Any complaints, any concerns?
No, there are no complaints.
Okay, so. Time out.
I wish she would have put a reason.
We got
Yeah,
6 hours to figure this out, guys.
No,
just procedural. She wanted a separate form.
I'm,
She's from Richfield. I guess they did it differently there, but I don't know why.
let's go with,
trustee Peeper,
if you look at
please.
the next page, in the packets, it
It's in,
clearly states, yeah,
in-
it clearly states outside as well. So look at first and floor for dining areas and outside premise fenced in.
yes.
So your amendments would make more sense than anything to me.
Yes.
Because the paperwork's contradicting itself then.
Yes.
And we never did this for the previous owner of,
Yeah, from my perspective, that is the beer stubby, is the outdoor beer garden. That is what you, the new purveyor, wants to have. That is what it is. If you want to delay the paperwork, I'm not sure I have a problem delaying the paperwork, but let's go ahead and approve the
we can't- we
paperwork.
can't- We can't approve something that we don't have paperwork for.
we do have the paper.
We do have the paperwork. I understood that they were doing it. How do I wipe away the village clerks?
What did the village clerk
No.
ask you to do, please?
I mean, really, she should be the one that is familiar with the law regarding these matters. You're not gonna use the outside now anyways for a couple of months,
Not after
correct?
Wednesday.
Right.
So I
I
mean,
just want to make sure we can get approval for it because if,
so it's delayed, if it's delayed a month, you know, there's no reason why we
Yeah.
couldn't get an answer.
Right.
from them.
I certainly wouldn't, I wouldn't buy the building if we can't use the outside, because that, like
I-
you said,
yeah,
that's
and I
the whole
agree.
thing, so. I'd like to know,
I-
In January?
Is there something we can do for them to say, once
Well,
we
we-
get paperwork, we'll approve it?
So shouldn't we pass this and let the village board? So that gets it to next week, Monday, which allows enough time to figure this out
Yes.
and you guys,
plenty of time, yeah.
yeah.
Does that work for you
And
guys?
not hold up the process
Great
if
for
you
me, yeah,
have
as long
to.
as it's not next month.
Yeah,
Next
because you
week
can't
is
wait
fine.
until February is what we hear, right?
She has the paperwork already. She has the pictures of it. There's a aerial view, a separate application for some reason. I don't know why, but
So
I've never
we,
done it before.
so thank you, and I apologize for the confusion.
Yeah, no problem.
We have an amended motion, and the amended motion states,
Amended motion says he wanted to take out the external premise portion. Discussion.
Which,
Okay.
the way he amended it was not very clear.
So
Would
what
you
is-
like to clarify?
what is, well, yeah, please clarify that for us. David?
Time
Trustee
out,
Baum?
time out. I'm trying to, I'm
Just thinking, it
trying to
takes a long
think
time.
about what I said and what I should do. What I wanted to do was eliminate the clerk's requirement. But as I understand through discussion, I can't do that. So should I really just rescind my motion?
That's what I'm wondering. Don't we want to,
Yeah, because I won't.
pass the original
on.
motion?
That, no, the application for an original Class B fermented malt beverage and intoxicating liquor license. And it says, it states the address of the business. Now, if you look in the packet, that was just a memo submitted by Donna with a recommendation. That does not mean that we have to go by the recommendation. If we approve it, the outside premise would be included
With
Make a
the,
motion.
on the original motion?
on the original motion.
Yes,
So the
that's
amendment
correct.
isn't even needed as long as this is
So, okay,
approved.
so the first thing we need to do is we have to vote on the amendment,
Well, or he could withdraw it.
Withdraw it.
or you can withdraw.
I will withdraw my amendment.
Is that okay with the second?
Yeah.
Okay. That gets us back to the
The
original.
original.
And just
motion.
go back and read the original recommendation as the motion.
Mhm.
And if she has a problem with that, then she can bring that up next week at the village board.
I agree.
If that is the case, that this just gets brought before the village board next week,
On Monday.
you're good with that.
Yep.
I'm willing to push this down the road to argue it out for you later. I don't need another motion.
If this motion is approved, you're approving the original alcohol beverage license application, which clearly states,
Yes,
so you're not approving a memo, you're approving the
Yes.
application.
correct.
Yes.
That's what I'm approving is the outdoor
Okay.
premises.
Now that
we're
we're
all on the
all
same
under
page.
that understanding, trustee Peeper is not voting.
No.
All those in favor say aye.
I,
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you,
Right.
thank you, thank you, guys.
Sorry for the confusion.
Nope. New business item E, hopefully easier than D. Purchase of a new F-150 pickup truck.
Denied.
It's separations would make it a little cleaner. The F-150 was approved for the 2024 budget. We'd like to get these squads in the queue order.
Chief Snow, please turn your microphone on, sir.
I'm gonna figure this out before I retire. I will.
It's all live.
So I thought I'd separate this out. It was just probably a little cleaner, but the 2024 F-150 was approved in the 2024 budget for the amount of $47,343. We are looking to get these orders just in the queue. They're not building them yet, and we probably won't see any of these till late summer. We are hoping.
Make a,
Thank you, Chief Snow.
make a motion to approve new business item E, purchase of F-150.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. New business, item F, purchase of two 2025 Ford Police Interceptors. Chief Snow?
And these would be the two interceptors. We had requested 3 vehicles total. These are the 2 interceptors that we requested that were approved for the 2024 budget. Again, just looking to get those ordered and put in the queue for Ford.
Quick question. I know that this was in the 2024 budget
Motion
for you.
first. Motion
Mo-
first.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
trustee Vaughn. Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Trustee Peeper?
I know that this was put into, I believe, the capital budget for you. And I know you have the amount you're requesting. I don't have the budget in front of me. Is that within the budget?
That is, I think the overall budget was 300 something without it in front of me.
100.
Yes, so then we would come back when it's time for the changeover in equipment.
All right, then motion's already made and seconded.
Thank you. We have a motion. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Lastly, new business item G, purchase of 2025 Ford Police Interceptor to replace Squad 12.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Trustee Baum, any questions?
As I recall, I don't have the backup with me, but the cost of a new vehicle is more than the cost of the purchase of the police interceptors?
The replacement cost for that squad, it's going to be the same squad as the police interceptors that we're purchasing to replace Squad 12, and we included the cost of the changeover and equipment.
That's why there's a difference in price.
Correct.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Any further questions for Chief Snow? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Lastly, next public safety meeting will be Monday, February 5th at 6 PM.
6.
Monday, February 5th.
That is what my sheet tells me, yes.
6 p.m.
6 PM or 5?
6
p.m.?
he said.
6, my sheet tells me 6 PM.
Yeah, that's right, because we have village board. that
That's
night,
what I've
so-
been told. That's when we'll have it.
February 5th at,
February 5th, 6 PM Monday.
good,
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
thank you.
Go buy a shovel now. So I got 5 kids that'll work it.
We need 5 shovels. 5 kids, she only has 4 shovels.
Sure.
Yes, correct. Yeah, license for that one's collected by. Hi.